Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today we are doing an astrology video and we're going to be focusing on September 18th partial lunar eclipse. A couple things before we start. You are going to hear my cats. They are so rambunctious. They may jump up on the table and join us. If they do, I'm sorry, there's nothing I could do. They're literally so in love with my desk and anything that I do while at my desk, they want to be a part of it. You may hear their water fountain in the background too, and my AC unit, both of which are loud. So what is a lunar eclipse, right? A lunar eclipse can only happen during a full moon. So this is a full moon when the sun and the moon are directly opposite one another. This is a full moon. Full moons are about culmination, okay? They're about endings. They're about things coming to a head. It's also when people feel more emotional, when emotional reactivity is heightened. Now, what makes for a lunar eclipse, right? The reason why we see the moon in its all beautiful glory is because the sun's rays are illuminating the moon. But if planet Earth is in between them, then these rays are interfered or intercepted, and then we have a shadow on the moon. So you're probably thinking, okay, cool. Now we know that. So what does this mean for us in terms of astrology? So on September 18th, the sun will be in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is the sixth sign of the zodiac. It is a mutable earth sign, okay? And it rules things like work, effort, health, service, and support. Okay, I don't have any more room there, so just leave it at that. What is the moon? The moon that day is going to be in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. It is mutable water. What is the moon? Sorry. What is Pisces about? Pisces is about rest, sleep. It's about forgiveness. It's about the past. It's also about compassion. Hopefully you can see that. Now when the sun is in Virgo, we are seeking, right? Things like order, organization, support. When the moon's in Pisces, we need rest or sleep. We need forgiveness. We need compassion. We also need spirituality, very important. When the shadow is cast on the moon, our needs are not met. Now, granted, this is not going to be a total lunar eclipse. This is going to be a partial lunar eclipse. So our needs are going to be partially met. Now, a couple of things to consider. The rest of the planetary alignments. First and foremost, we look to the ruler of this full moon partial lunar eclipse. So we look to the sign that it's in. It's in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by the planet Jupiter. Where is Jupiter that day? Jupiter is going to be mutable air. Remember, we have mutable water, mutable earth. So lots of mutable energy. What is mutable energy? Mutable energy is changing energy. It's ever changing. It's adaptable. It's flexible. Jupiter's condition in this sign is detriment. It has to work twice as hard in this sign because it's in the sign opposite to which it rules. And when we look at the ruler of this partial lunar eclipse, we know that it's square. The ruler of this lunar eclipse is square to itself. What does this mean? This adds tension. This adds tension to the mix, right? It adds ego to the mix. What does the ruler of this lunar eclipse tell us? So, first of all, what is Gemini? It's representative of our peers, our neighbors, our siblings, people we know on a casual level, okay, people that are around us, but maybe we don't have that intimacy with them. That's Gemini. So while Jupiter is in Gemini, we are exploring these types of relationship. We are learning from and experiencing these relationships at a heightened level. Because this is the ruler of this lunar eclipse, we have motivation coming from this experience that's fueling this lunar eclipse energy. Let's look at the difference between Virgo and Pisces, right? Virgo, like I said, is mutable earth. Pisces is mutable water. So they have this in common, right? These two are what's considered to be sister signs. Just like Cancer and Capricorn, Gemini and Sagittarius, just like Taurus and Scorpio. Those are sister signs, two sides of the same coin. Now, the friction that comes from them is really elemental because the elements are different. They're different, but they're not totally different from each other, right? After all, when we have earth and water, we get what? We get mud, right? And water meets the earth. The earth is composed of primarily water. So there's that relationship between the two elements, but I digress. Virgo is about helping others, while Pisces is about helping yourself. But Pisces is the only sign of the zodiac that has no boundaries. It has no distinction between helping itself versus helping other people. So it's not really just helping yourself, it's helping all. While Virgo only knows how to help other people and typically puts itself last, Pisces knows that to help others, they need to help themselves. So we have that dichotomy there. Another dichotomy between these two signs is health versus well-being. You would think these two things are the same thing, but is it? We have health, which when we think of health, we generally think of physical health, right? But Pisces knows that there's more to it than just the physical. There's your emotional health. There's your mental health. There's your spiritual health. There's also your physical health. Then one more thing that I think is really important to note between the difference between these two signs, right, is that this is conscious effort, while this is all that is happening subconsciously. And in the realm of astrology, your spiritual health and well-being, your emotional well-being, your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being manifests in the conscious health. It manifests in the reality of your health. And your health also reflects, you know, what's going on the inside subconsciously too. So these two are very, very much connected, which I think is important to note. But subconscious and conscious effort. Then we talk about translating this to someone's chart. Maybe we have someone that wants to know how this full moon lunar eclipse is going to affect them on a personal level. Before we get to that part, I know you're excited for that because you want to know how this is going to affect you personally. I get it. It's so fun. First, we have to look at any important aspects being made during this full moon partial lunar eclipse. And what's going to happen on this day is there's going to be a conjunction. Conjunction means two or more planets or points come together. There's going to be a conjunction to the planet Neptune. And it is currently retrograde, okay? When a planet is retrograde, it looks like it's going backwards in the sky. It's having to do with our viewpoints, an illusion. It's not actually going backwards. Neptune is the planet of mystery, magic, hidden stuff. It's the planet of illusion. When it's retrograde, these things become the opposite. So Neptune retrograde tends to reveal. So when we talk about the great revelation, it's going to come during Neptune retrograde. Okay, so think of Neptune retrograde as revelation. What is revelation? When things start making sense, when the hidden comes to light. That is revelation. So this conjunction is going to be at a 3-degree orb. That means that it's 3 degrees apart from one another. These two are at 22 degrees and Neptune is at 25 degrees. So technically this moon is applying in a conjunction to Neptune. So the moon is coming closer and closer to Neptune, and Neptune is slower moving than the moon, of course, it's farther away. So the moon is catching up to Neptune. In modern astrology, Neptune rules Pisces. Notice how I use Jupiter, traditional ruler of Pisces. Okay, but Neptune is a co-ruler of Pisces, and we do still consider that. So there's something to be said about this feedback loop that's happening here. The full moon partial lunar eclipse is conjunct its own ruler. Okay, even though, like I said, Jupiter is who we're naming as its ruler due to traditional astrology, nonetheless, there's still a relationship here that is to be considered. So there's a feedback mechanism happening here where it's like, we need rest, peace. We need forgiveness. We need compassion. We need sleep. We need to put things in the past. We need to let bygones be bygones. And it's because something has been revealed. Something is being revealed. A truth is coming to light. A situation is showing its true colors. That's why we need to make sure that this is being put in the past, because now there's an understanding happening here that maybe things were not as they seemed in the past, but now they're revealing their true colors. Now, I know we talked about the moon representing our needs and our emotions, but in astrology, the moon is also a summation of the people. What are people feeling? How are they? What's the vibe? What's the current vibe? What's the energy? So when the moon's in Pisces, we do have, no, this is a water sign. So we have this heightened emotional state, right? We have a lot more intuition to use and pull from. We have people being way more open spiritually than ever before. But since we are in this conjunction to Neptune, this can create an opportunity for vulnerability. Okay, this can create a point of vulnerability because we are so open, because we are in this heightened emotional state. Neptune is actually pulling emotional energy from how the people are feeling. It's actually using and manipulating people's compassion and niceness. That's why I told you Pisces has no boundaries. But that can be good and that can be bad, because if you have no boundaries, people can use you, people can take advantage of you. So there's heightened state of vulnerability during this lunar eclipse, okay? Now, let's talk about this in reference to different signs. So I'm just going to come up with different combinations so you can see what I'm talking about. First, I'm going to start with Taurus Rising. That means that this partial lunar eclipse, I'm not going to keep saying that, I'm just going to say lunar eclipse, is taking place in your Pisces 11th, while the sun is in your Virgo 5th. Now the 5th house is about fun. It's about pleasure. It's about creativity. It's also about risk taking, right? Gambling, for example, is the 5th house. Partying is the 5th house. All the good stuff, 5th house. But it's also like the biggest intersection between you and where you're trying to be, which is your 10th house. So this is like the make it or break it house. When the sun is in your Virgo 5th, you are putting energy, effort, practice into these things. Meanwhile, if the lunar eclipse is taking place in your 11th, you know, your needs are changing when it comes to things like community, belonging, goal setting. And why are these things changing? Because we have the eclipse, yes, but also because of Neptune retrograde being close by, we have this great reveal. Something's being revealed about your future, about life, about the direction you're headed in. That means that you need to make some necessary changes to your 11th house space. Now let's do another example. Let's say you're a Pisces rising, right? That means that this lunar eclipse is taking place in your first house, with the sun being in your Virgo 7th. This is the house of self. This is, your physical state. This is the roles that you play in life. Meanwhile, this is your relationships to other people, your relationship to life itself, right? I'm going to say the relationship to others. Also, this is the house of obligations. What I would say here is, with the lunar eclipse taking place in your first, your needs are changing here. After you find something out, maybe about yourself, about your physical state, about the roles that you play, you come to some sort of harsh truth or reality of a situation where you're like, okay, something needs to change here. Things can't stay the way that they are. Something about Pisces rising, something about Pisces ascendants that I always tell them is that their subconscious and their physical state, their subconscious, their relationship to themselves, their subconscious and their roles that they play in life are very, very, very strongly connected to one another. So it's really important for them to get lots of rest and sleep. Their bedroom should be their oasis. They also need to be around water, bodies of water, sounds of water. It's really important for them. It's good for them. So needs are changing, and you need to not worry as much about putting in effort and energy and supporting other people right now. It's about you. So you need to get back to yourself. Let's do another example. Okay, let's say you're a Libra rising. This one's fun because it's a little kooky. It's like opposite day. Now, keep in mind, we do have the South Node currently in the sign of Libra with Venus there too. So Venus is in conjunction to the South Node and to Lilith, which in and of itself tends to bring back a lot of old relationship karma for you to be able to deal with. It has a lot to do with people pleasing. It has a lot to do with patterns of people pleasing and what that means for us as individuals. With the North Node being in our Aries house, we have to seek independence, freedom, and we need to pursue a relationship to ourselves in that way. Very important to note that though, because having the South Node in Libra means that we need to stop trying to make other people like us. We need to focus on ourselves and focus on being true to who we are. Lunar eclipse, right? So in the case of a Libra rising, a Libra ascendant, the lunar eclipse is taking place in opposite houses. So their sun is in Virgo 12th and the moon is in their Pisces 6th. So it's opposite day for this chart. And I say that because usually the 6th house is associated with Virgo and the sign of Pisces is associated with the 12th house. Remember, we need to make sure we include good old Neptune retrograde in the mix. So there's something being discovered here, being revealed about this person's 6th house space, which is all about health, routine, day-to-day life, work, right? Something's being revealed here. So they need to make a change. They need to figure out what they're going to do here. Maybe they haven't been all that great about setting boundaries. And now they're going to have to change that, right? Especially at work, especially when it comes to their health and their day-to-day life. Setting stronger boundaries here is necessary. Meanwhile, they're focused on putting effort and energy into being mostly alone, honestly, into hiding, into escaping, into the fantasy world. That's what they want to do. But also trying to work on things in a retrospective kind of way, working on things in hindsight. Okay, so they need to stop doing that as much as they are and really focus on this side of things, right? Needing to forgive themselves for their habits and the things that they gravitate towards, because it's just a means of escape at the end of the day. It's just a means of trying to get away from their existing reality. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed, and please make sure you check out my linktree, linktree.com/AstroBaby91. There you can find my free ebook. You can book your own personal service. You can submit reviews for services if you enjoy my work. And you can also tip if you feel so inclined. Don't forget to go on over to my Patreon where I post astrology educational content. Also have giveaways there. I do all kinds of stuff. And I have my monthly newsletter there too. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.